I am Kimberly Hunt, and I am so happy to be with all of you here tonight, here in one of San Diego's most iconic institutions, the San Diego Natural History Museum. Is this not fabulous? Wow. For those of you like me who arrived early, I hope you had a chance to explore the exhibits. There is nothing like the fossils that are a few million years old to remind us that change takes time. And there's even a T-Rex up there. I promise, though, tonight will not take that much time. And as someone who's had the privilege of telling the stories about the San Diego region and all of our leaders for so many years on ABC 10 News, I have seen firsthand how this county has evolved. And I have the archived footage, and I have the 90s shoulder pads to go with it. Hey, I know, I've still got the shoulder pads, so some things never die. Don't judge me there. But tonight, we are gathered among the leaders that are shaping San Diego's next chapter: residents, organizers, small business owners, public health champions, climate advocates, and of course, our elected officials who are working every day to serve our communities. We even have representatives from the Tijuana Mayor's Office and the City of Tecate, our friends and neighbors from across the border. Thank you. Thank you so much. I see Mayor Todd Gloria in the audience. Love that. Thank you so much. Thank you. So dedicated to this region. We also have our city council members, Kent Lee and Sean Elo Rivera. Thank you for coming tonight. Carlsbad Council Member Kevin Shin is here as well. Mayor of Lemon Grove, Allison Snow, is here. And our District Attorney, Summer Steffen. Always great to see you. And of course, Congressman Juan Vargas. One of a kind, my friend. We are so grateful for your presence, all of you, and for your partnership tonight with the county. And now to begin this evening's program, it is my deep honor to recognize the original stewards of this land. So please join me in welcoming Councilman John Eagle Spirit Elliott, member of the Manzanita Band of Kumeyaay Nation.
Hauka, Mahan Menwea, Nyaj Johnny Ishpa Matau, Nyaj Nakatun Kuman. Good evening and well wishes to you all gathered here. My name is John Eagle Spirit Elliott, and I'm here on behalf of the Manzanita Band of the Kumeyaay Nation, where I have served on the tribal council for over 20 years. My grandparents were John Elliott Hashmayup, Adelina Asueo, and Rita Pico Quinish. I'm honored to be able to participate tonight in the state of the county. I'm grateful to be here in this time where the County of San Diego is acknowledging that this land we're standing on is the homelands of the Kumeyaay people. We are taught by our ancestors that our people have been placed here by the Creator since time immemorial, and proven by science to be here for over 12,000 years, give or take a few. However, there is evidence to claim a significantly longer history of our people in this land. The Kumeyaay homelands extend from Oceanside south to Ensenada in Baja California, and from the Pacific Ocean east to the Colorado River in Imperial County. This land is part of a relationship that has nourished, protected, and embraced the Kumeyaay people to the present day. This relationship is a mutually beneficial relationship that will continue to sustain and define our people for the next 7 generations and beyond. The Kumeyaay people have been and continue to be self-governing people, and we continue our traditions, religion, and land management practices to this day. By this acknowledgement, the county is also acknowledging the true history of this region since 1769. This history has been at times traumatic, devastating, and our people paid with their lives. However, our resilience has enabled us to overcome this tragic history, and we are continuously looking to the future to create better opportunities, better relationships with the county and local communities, and better living environments for all people. It makes me proud every time an acknowledgement is made, whether it be here on my own ancestral land or on the land of another tribe. Today and every day, we acknowledge that San Diego is our traditional homelands and that this county is still home to the Kumeyaay, Luiseño, Kupa, and Cahuilla people. Our people continue to live, work, and raise our families in this territory. Our spiritual practices are tied to this land, and we recognize and respect the legacy of our ancestors and their contributions to the sovereignty we enjoy today. As we all gather here together, all of us, and share a strong commitment to the right and the best interest of all people in San Diego, let us not forget those who have been and are and will continue to be stewards of this land. Yechech Kwahan.
Councilman John Eagle Spirit Elliott, thank you so much. And thank you for grounding us in the deep and enduring history of this land. And now I invite all of you who are able to please rise for the presentation of colors by the San Diego High School Army ROTC under the leadership of Command Sergeant Major Daniel Garcia. And then please remain standing as we honor our country with the national anthem. That will be performed this evening by Anna Hubbard for the San Diego Children's Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that her flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Unbelievable. And thank you to the talented cadets of the San Diego High School Army ROTC for your service and your precision. Please retire the colors.
March on, march, left, right turn, march, left, left, forward, march, left, left, corridor, halt, order, color,
And with gratitude, you may all be seated. Thank you so much. Tonight, as we gather to reflect on where we've been and where we are headed as a county, it's important not just to think of purpose, but presence. And we're honored to be joined by two remarkable faith leaders who embody the spirit of community, compassion, and justice that guides this county's work. So please welcome Rabbi Lori Koski and Rabbi Jason Navarez to offer this evening's invocation.
Somebody once said to me, 2 rabbis, no waiting. Good evening, Chair Lawson-Remer. I'm looking for her. I hope she hears us. You are Lawson-Remer. Good evening, Supervisor Montgomery Stepp, and members of this beautiful community. As we gather here for the State of the County Address, let us take a quiet breath to center ourselves in shared purpose and gratitude. This week, communities across our county, the nation, yes, the world, are observing sacred traditions. Passover in the Jewish faith and Holy Week among our Christian neighbors. These profound seasons invite us into a deeper awareness of renewal, resilience, and hope. They remind us that liberation and redemption are not just echoes from the past, but living values, inviting us to embody justice, radiate compassion, and walk with courage in our lives. Passover teaches us that a just society does not scapegoat the most vulnerable, but protects them. That might does not equal right, and true leadership is defined by moral courage and compassion. That a fair and thriving community levels the playing field for all, regardless of backgrounds or income. And that the rules must be just and consistent, never bent by wealth or privilege. This evening, more than an address, is a recommitment of all of us to our shared values, to a San Diego County where dignity is right, opportunity is real, and justice belongs to everyone. In the spirit of our sacred seasons of Passover and Easter, and in honor of the many diverse faiths and backgrounds that enrich our community, may we lead with integrity, listen with open hearts, and govern with boldness and humility. May the work we do tonight and in the days ahead bring healing, equity, and hope to every corner of our county, and let us all say, Amen.
Eternal source of hope and healing. Tonight, as we enter the 5th night of Passover, and as we dwell in the midst of the Holy Week for our Christian siblings, we gather in the spirit of the season, a time when Jewish families across San Diego and around the world retell a story that's been at the center of Jewish life for thousands of years, the journey from slavery to freedom, from darkness to light, from degradation to dignity. It's a story that shaped not only our tradition, but the very sense of our greater communities, of who we are and how we're meant to live in this world. Passover reminds us that freedom is not a one-time gift, but a sacred responsibility. The Exodus was not about escaping Pharaoh's chains. It was about building a society that's rooted in justice, compassion, and care for the most vulnerable. So too in our own time, as we prepare to hear the state of our county by Supervisor Lawson-Remer, we must be mindful that our work is to ensure that freedom means not just the absence of tyranny, but the presence of opportunity. Freedom means that no one fears financial ruin because they're in need of medical care. Freedom means that every child can drink clean water. breathe clean air, and walk to school without fear. Freedom means that people who are unhoused find shelter and dignity, that our streets are safe and our justice system is fair, and that those who protect and serve are guided by integrity and compassion. Freedom means that our elders can retire with security, our workers can build a life of purpose and stability, and that small businesses, the beating heart of many of our neighborhoods, can thrive alongside strong and accountable institutions. May this sacred season, however we celebrate it to each of us, remind us that none of us is free until we are all free. And may the work of this county be guided by wisdom, by courage, and a deep commitment to the common good. May we walk together forward towards a land of promise. As we say, amen.
Amen.
Rabbi Koski and Navarez, thank you so much for those words. Beautiful invocation. And the words remind us why this work and this gathering tonight really matter. I would like to ask Judy Gradwald to come up. She is the CEO of the Natural History Museum. Judy, thank you so much for hosting us tonight. We are so grateful to be here. We want to make sure you come up and get a wave, please.
Thank you. It's an absolute honor to host the State of the County address by Acting Chair Terra Lawson-Remer and to welcome all of you to the museum. The San Diego Natural History Museum helps nature thrive through research, education, and collaboration. And San Diego County's nature is exceptional. We live in the most biodiverse county in the contiguous United States, so it is an absolute pleasure and honor to be here. The museum focuses on Southern California and Baja California Peninsula, and as the oldest and most preeminent natural science organization in the county's most biodiverse region, our work has global implications and impact. Together with our partners, we advance our understanding of the natural world, informing our own conservation efforts, and inspiring others to love, appreciate, and conserve it too. We have just celebrated our 150th anniversary of serving the region both in this beautiful building and in natural areas throughout the county. And I'd like to highlight just 3 aspects of our work. First, we are connecting county residents with nature across all 5 of the county's distinct habitats through more than 60 free-to-the-public interpretive nature hikes. Secondly, we are directly conserving biodiversity by reintroducing the locally extinct California red-legged frog, which, as all of you know, is California's state amphibian. So it's back in San Diego County. This is the first year that they've bred natively. We can hear red-legged frogs again in San Diego County due to our efforts. And finally, since so many of you came as children, bring your children. I just want to remind you that we are also educating the next generation of county students. And tomorrow alone, we'll be hosting more than 1,200 students from 6 schools in the La Mesa Spring Valley School District, helping to ensure that every student has access to engaging nature and education. This is your museum, and we are your conduit to understanding our region's vast biodiversity. Enjoy this evening, and please come again to experience the world of discovery and adventure here at the Nat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy, for that. We all feel like children when we're here. It's just amazing. And Judy tells me that there's something new coming in June, so stay tuned, because guess what? I'll be right there to give it to you. But now it is my honor to introduce someone who has spent his career fighting for dignity, equity, and opportunity, both here at home and in the halls of Congress. He is a steadfast champion for the people of San Diego County and a voice for justice at the national level. Please welcome our special guest this evening, Congressman Juan
'Juan 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 Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What an honor it is to be here. Wow, that rendition of our national anthem, wasn't that something? You killed it, young lady, you killed it. That was awesome. That was great. Now, there's got to be some special blessing, though, isn't there, with two rabbis during Passover? I mean, come on. Isn't there a special blessing? There must be. There must be. Well, again, as some of you know, my name is Juan Vargas, and it really is an honor to be here. I think the reason that I was asked to do this is because since I've known Terra since she was a little girl. I think we were reminiscing about that. I think she was 12 or 13. But it really is an honor. Also, I have to say, I have the honor of being the first person to endorse her when she ran for office, too. It's quite a, yeah, it's the only thing I'm going to be known for, that I was the one that helped her get started, believe me. So again, I want to, it really is an honor here. Oh, there you are. You really did a fantastic job. You really did. You really did, our singer today. You were really, really good. Again, I want to say thank you for the supervisor for allowing me to be here, and the mayor, and the council members, and nuestros amigos también de Tijuana. También a ustedes, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. It really is an honor for me to be here and to say something about Terra. As I said, I've known Terra for a very long time. I knew her when she was a little girl. I also knew she came from very good stock. Both of her grandfathers fought in World War II, both of them in the Pacific. And sadly, one of her grandfathers died in Korea as a Marine. The children of those two heroes are here today. Larry Remer, and Terra Lawson-Remer. And of course, the great Ava Kai. Good to see you, honey. Yay! Yay. So I knew that she was of great stock, and I hired her when I was on the San Diego City Council a long time ago, before this part of the museum was built. I hired her. She was in high school at the time, and it was interesting because it was a very difficult time in the city's history. Our crime rate was very high, and so we were trying to figure things out as to what we could do, especially to get the juvenile crime rate down. So the mayor at the time, Susan Golding, came up with what we thought was a reasonable idea, and that was to have a curfew for kids. And the curfew was 10 o'clock at night, so you couldn't be out after 10, because a lot of the crime that was being committed, not anymore, because we have a great district attorney here, right, District Attorney? Good to see you here. Summer Stephan, good to see you. I tease because when I was on the San Diego City Council, she used to help us in the barrio quite a bit. She was like our attorney in helping us get rid of some of the drugs and all the other stuff that was plaguing our community, and I always appreciated you for that. Thank you. But anyway, I hired her, right? She was a brilliant young lady. She was in high school. She was terrific, and she didn't like the curfew. And I had voted for it. I had supported for it. I knew it was a little broad, and maybe it drag-netted too many young people in that obviously weren't causing any problems. But she hated it. And so she decided that she was going to sue the city as an employee of the city. And I thought, well, okay. And she asked me if that was okay, and I said, of course. I'm not one to tell you, of course, I know better than that to tell you what to do. But that's one. But also, of course, it's your right to do that. If you think that your rights have been infringed upon, it's your right to sue. And so she did. She did. So she and others, young people, were the plaintiffs, and they brought a lawsuit against the city saying that we had infringed upon their rights. And then what happened was that the media, of course, loved this, because here she is in my office. I had voted for it, and she's suing basically me and the council. But then she wants to debate me. And she wants to debate me at I don't know, at KPBS or something like that. And I knew it was going to be a long and detailed debate. And I was smart enough not to debate her. I said, but you might want to debate the city attorney, Casey Gwynn. And Casey decided to debate her, and I told him, I said, I don't think that you should. One, I think she has a better argument. And secondly, she's incredibly smart, incredibly smart. So they did debate, and it was unbelievable. She tore him apart. She absolutely tore him apart. She went to court, of course, and they won. And after that, I mean, her career was one that didn't surprise me. You know, she went on to Yale. She was brilliant there. She went to NYU. She got a JD, a Juris Doctorate. She also got her PhD. And then she came back and wanted to serve this community. She was always one serving the community. And I have to tell you, I've been impressed with everything that she's ever done. And I know that there's more to come. Now, I've been around for a while. I got elected back when I was 32 years old. So that was a long time ago, Mayor. That was a long time ago. I remember you too when you were an aide back then to Susan Davis. But it was a long time ago. And I've seen these cycles, and I think we're about to, these economic cycles, and I think we're about to go through a difficult one, unfortunately. Maybe one of our own making, unfortunately, too. But either way, I think it's going to be a difficult time, and we need really courageous leaders. And I think that Terra is a courageous leader that's going to help us through here. And I hope that the city and the county work together, and obviously the state and hopefully the federal government. But we all need to work together because I think it is going to be a difficult moment. But I think we have the right people in place to really make things better for our community here and to withstand the difficulty that we're about to go through. And again, I think Terra has more than the capacity to do that, more than the heart, more than the spirit to do that. She's ready. She's really prepared, I think, her whole life for this moment. And so I'm very, very proud to be here to say to all of you, I think we are very well suited by having her at the county right now. She has great allies there in all the members, and I'm sure that you guys are gonna add another good person, and you're gonna work together and do the best you can, because that's what this community needs. Now, people always ask me why I tell the story about being sued by Terra. I don't tell it to show how smart she was. I tell it to show how smart I was, not to debate her. But again, it really is an honor to be here with you tonight. It really is an honor to be able to say to all of you that I think we have the very best person we possibly could have in this community in Terra Lawson-Remer. And I know that she will work very, very hard to do the right thing for this community, especially, rabbis, as you said, for those that are left in the margins, those that need the most help, those that need the most compassion. She's the right person for the job. And it's really nice to have a woman be the right man for the job. And with that, thank you.
Wonderful, as always. Thank you so much, Congressman Vargas, for that. And this is the moment that we have been waiting for, the heart of tonight's program. Our next speaker is a bold, pragmatic, and fearless leader, an economist, organizer, educator, and attorney who has spent her life fighting for people, for justice, and for the future of our planet. As acting chair of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, she is bringing both urgency and a vision, one rooted in equity, compassion, and concrete results. So please join me in welcoming the chair of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, Terra Lawson-Remer. Supervisor Lawson-Remer, we want to take a quick selfie, and we want to do it to encourage all of you to be social tonight, because this night is really important. If we all lean in, we could trend tonight. Trend for what's good for San Diego. Wouldn't that be great? Also on Instagram, @SoupLawsonRemer. So please, please don't forget that at all. And you can hashtag SD State of the County 25. Give us a second, and then all of you join in, get your own selfies. But let's do this. Oh, wait, got a selfie. Ah. Oh my God, it's so cute. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is so great. Thank you, Kimberly. Isn't she great? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. And I'd like to thank the San Diego Natural History Museum for hosting us tonight in beautiful Balboa Park. I'd like to recognize all of our elected and appointed officials, including County Treasurer, Tax Collector Dan McAllister, County Assessor, Recorder Clerk Jordan Marks, Sheriff Kelly Martinez, District Attorney Summer Steffen, and all my colleagues on the County Board of Supervisors, as well as our local, state, and national representatives and binational delegation. And I'd like to thank my daughter in advance for mostly sitting still during Mommy's speech. She's making progress. So tonight, let's talk about progress, about taking one step forward and one step back, about building things up and tearing things down. And no, I'm not talking about the last few years at the County Board of Supervisors. I'm talking about this moment we're all living through, when it feels like our entire nation is taking a big step backward. But we've been here before. This dialectic is the arc of America's history. We've faced tough times, and we know how to lead through them. Look around us. This very museum is a monument to how life adapts and thrives, even in harsh environments. Balboa Park is itself a product of these forces. Over 150 years ago, our civic leaders set aside these 1,400 acres to give city dwellers a place for peace as the city grew around them. Yet, the same people who were creating our city were excluding people from it. For generations, Black, Jewish, Hispanic, Asian, and other minorities were banned from living in much of San Diego. It was just the way things were, until it wasn't. In 1947, a young man named Leon became the first Black homeowner in Golden Hill, a whites-only neighborhood. And through sheer determination and belief in his ability to make a change, Leon broke a barrier most thought was impossible. And today, thanks to actions like his, exclusionary redlining laws in our county have been abolished. Thank you. And that trailblazing homeowner went on to become San Diego's first Black city council member, first Black county supervisor, and champion of justice for all, the late, great Leon Williams. And tonight, we are joined by two of his family members, Angela Strong and Deetra Williams. Our county thanks you and the entire Williams family. He paved the way for so many, including my colleague that I am so incredibly honored to serve with today, Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp. Leon Williams is proof that all of us can be a force for change and for progress. But progress does not mean completion. And just as San Diego's red line communities still bear the scars of generations of neglect, our county and our nation are still striving to fulfill the promise of America. The United States was founded on an extraordinary idea unparalleled in the history of the world. There are no kings and queens. We are all equal. Thank you. But a nation that was stitched together under the banner of freedom was built on the back of slavery. Wealthy robber barons of the Gilded Age paid workers barely enough to survive. Women could not vote or own property until people fought and marched and organized and demanded that the promise of America become real for all Americans, demanded that we all be included. And now it's our turn to advance America's promise, our responsibility to carry the torch in America's ongoing struggle between humanity's worst instincts and our highest ideals. And as we gather here tonight, we face another inflection point. The same forces that have always tried to make America work only for the wealthy and well-connected are once again rigging the system, cutting everyone else out of the American dream. The oligarchs now running Washington sell us on the lie that if we work just a little harder, we can join the billionaires club too, that we're just one step away from being one of them. But the truth is, they aren't getting their billions through hard work. They're stealing it. They're taking it from you, from your family, and from all of us. They want us to believe that government can't work, so they can take it for themselves. It's not mismanagement, it's sabotage. And if you're wondering what the chaos and corruption in Washington today has to do with local government, let me tell you, it has everything to do with it. Right now, the federal government is slashing programs we rely on for healthcare, housing, clean air and water, public safety, and disease prevention. Every decision Washington makes impacts our ability to serve you. And when federal leadership fails, local government must lead. Standing up to institutions that harm the public good, whether it's Walmart or Washington, D.C., is one of our core duties. And every time you weigh an apple at the grocery store or check how many gallons you've pumped at the gas station, you can trust that information is accurate. Because the San Diego County Department of Ag, Weights, and Measures protects consumers from deceptive practices and enforces fairness. It is quite literally the county's job to make sure that bad actors don't put their thumb on the scale. We cannot fix everything that's broken in Washington, but we can ensure that here, in our own community, might does not equal right, and the playing field is level for everyone. The most marginalized are not scapegoated. Our Constitution and due process are respected. You can see a doctor when you're sick and know you won't get sent a surprise bill afterwards that could bankrupt your family. Our air and water is clean and healthy and safe to drink and surf and swim. Young people, families, seniors, all of us can sleep with a decent roof over our heads. We're protected from measles and other deadly diseases. And that if you work hard and with integrity, you can send your kids to a decent school and someday retire with dignity and security and build a better life for your family. This moment calls for courage and bold ideas, for us to imagine the world as it should be and to fight to make the impossible possible. As JFK once said, we choose to go to the moon, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. So San Diego County, here's our game plan. Let's start with one of the county's biggest jobs, healthcare. 5 years ago, when I had my daughter, I was running my own small business and trying to make it work as a single mom. I went online to sign up for coverage under the Affordable Care Act, but we made too little to qualify. The only option was Medicaid, and thank God for it. Medicaid is a lifeline for nearly a third of San Diego County residents, over 900,000 people. That includes kids, seniors, working parents, people with disabilities, people like me, maybe people like you. And now that lifeline is under threat. The administration wants to slash Medicaid by $880 billion, stripping health care from hundreds of thousands of San Diegans. These cuts would show up in our emergency rooms, on our streets, in every neighborhood. You deserve to be able to see a doctor when you're sick, and no one should have to choose between getting care and going bankrupt. Thank you. But Medicaid is not only bread and butter health care, it is also the backbone of the county's funding to help the homeless and the foundation of our region's entire behavioral health care system. Over the past 4 years, we've added more than 5,000 new mental health and addiction treatment slots. This is how we help people in crisis on our streets. We've opened 4 new crisis stabilization centers. So mental health emergencies, whether or not you're sleeping on the streets, don't lead to jail or the ER. Thank you. We launched a new kind of region-wide 911 response, mobile crisis teams that show up to emergencies with mental health professionals, not handcuffs. We've nearly doubled our behavioral health workforce, putting hundreds of more counselors, nurses, and homeless outreach workers into our neighborhoods. And we're just getting started. Our new plan will double treatment slots again in 5 years to more than 32,000 openings for San Diegans to get help. That means more beds, more outpatient therapy, more ongoing support to make sure people stay housed and stable instead of homeless. The technical name is Optimal Care Pathways, but you can just call it the Care Before Crisis Plan. Because when we wait, people spiral, and we all pay the price. But when we meet people where they're at and give them what they need, we save lives, we save money, and we build a more humane system of care. We're working now to make the system more efficient and make sure every tax dollar is working for our community. The County of San Diego can do what other counties have done, create our own Medicaid health care plan, so that our tax dollars are spent helping patients, not enriching private equity investors and corporate executives. We can direct every Medicaid dollar be spent on patients by cutting out the middlemen, the insurance companies who continue to rake in record profits even while regular Americans are paying rising healthcare costs and getting worse care. So this is what we're doing starting this year. It's a 4-year process, but by the time our health insurance plan is up for renewal by the state of California in 2028, San Diego County will be ready with a managed care plan that we offer to county residents. But here's the bottom line. All the work we do to help the homeless get the care they need, all the investments we make so nearly 1 million San Diegans can see a doctor when they're sick, all of this depends on Medicaid funding. These are your tax dollars, money you pay in and expect to get back. If our Medicaid money disappears to pay for tax cuts for billionaires, the behavioral health system we have spent 4 years building crumbles. That's the threat. But here's the opportunity. We can raise the money ourselves, right here at home. Not by waiting or begging for DC to do its job, but by taking the wheel of our own destiny and steering our own San Diego County ship through this storm. A local revenue measure could leverage $1 billion a year to support healthcare and other needs. Enough to make sure that struggling San Diegans can see a doctor when they're sick and get treatment for addiction or mental health and avoid financial ruin from medical bills. Enough to keep building our behavioral health system to help the homeless on our streets. Enough to make sure our firefighters and sheriffs have the resources they need for hoses and hydrants, fire stations, fire trucks and patrol cars, and helicopters. Enough to keep delivering on essential services like emergency food assistance and protecting kids from child abuse. Enough to invest in childcare for working families and expand in-home supportive services for the elderly across San Diego County. And we can make sure every dollar is audited and lockboxed with public oversight, transparency, and real accountability. With a vote of the people, we can keep our families safe and healthy no matter what happens in Washington. But protecting our health isn't just about doctors and hospitals. It's about clean air, safe water, and a public health system strong enough to stop the next epidemic before it begins. San Diego County's Public Health Department works quietly behind the scenes, tracking diseases, testing water, and keeping us safe. Thank you. But our Public Health Department doesn't do it alone. The Center for Disease Control is one of our biggest partners. And under this administration, the CDC is being dismantled. The CDC has already fired over 700 experts. And last week, they clawed back $40 million that had been promised to San Diego's public health budget, gutting our disease tracking, our hepatitis A vaccine program, and our emergency response. That funding supported more than 90 public health workers, the team that tracks outbreaks and tests water after sewage spills, the team that recently traced and vaccinated over 2,000 people exposed to measles, stopping an outbreak before it spread. We cannot and we will not allow San Diego to become like Texas, where preventable measles outbreaks are killing children. But right now, our county's fiscal policy is too conservative to meet this moment. We have more than $100 million in excess reserves, just sitting in account, above what's recommended by best fiscal practices. That's public money, your money, collecting interest instead of saving lives. So today, I'm calling for immediate reform of our county's reserve policy. Because when Washington walks away, we need to be able to act to protect public health, public safety, and essential services. That includes using reserve funds to staff and pay for our new county public health lab, a cutting-edge facility that allows us to test for measles, hepatitis, norovirus, even anthrax right here in San Diego. No more sending samples out of state, no more waiting for federal help. With Washington slashing essential services, San Diego will step up, and we will put our reserves to work for the people that they're meant to serve. And on a healthy environment, we're not backing down because we all expect to breathe clean air, swim in clean water, and not get sick just from going outside. But in the Tijuana River Valley, that right has been violated for decades. Raw sewage flows across the border, polluting coastlines from Imperial Beach to Oceanside. Families pay the price, breathing dirty air and getting sick from swimming in the ocean. That's why we declared a countywide state of emergency. That's why we expanded air and water testing. That's why we're distributing tens of thousands of air purifiers. And that's why I led the push alongside Imperial Beach Mayor Paloma Aguirre to get the Tijuana River Valley designated as a Superfund site to force the federal government to treat it like the health crisis that it is. We've made real progress. Our dogged, very dogged, congressional delegation secured $650 million to fix the failing wastewater plant on our side of the border. But we have to keep pushing to protect that funding, to speed up plant construction, to get the Superfund designation for long-term cleanup dollars. And we also need funding that we control locally. That's why I'm supporting Senator Padilla's bill to use border toll revenues for Tijuana River Valley cleanup. And that's also why I'm proposing a $10 million matching county fund using some of our freed up reserves to match every grant dollar spent by the state or philanthropy to protect our communities from the sewage crisis. But until Tijuana's sewage system is repaired, we're just putting a Band-Aid on a broken pipe. So I'm asking all of you here today to join me in urging our friends and partners in Mexico and international partners like the World Bank to invest in long-term fixes for the Tijuana sewage system. We're also coming for the toxic polluters. We're taking on PFAS, the invisible forever chemicals that don't break down in our bodies and are linked to cancer, liver damage, and hormone disruption. These toxins are everywhere. Take firefighters. They're exposed to forever chemicals in the very gear meant to protect them and the foam used to put out fires. You can see these toxins in the frothy white foam floating on the surface of the Tijuana River at the Saturn Boulevard overpass. These cancer-causing chemicals were made, sold, and defended by billion-dollar companies that knew the risks and chose profit over public health. So we're fighting back. I'm calling to ban these forever chemicals from every product the county buys. And we're ready to sue the manufacturers who are poisoning our water and our people. Environmental health is also about preparing for the next storm and building systems that make our communities more resilient. That's why we're investing in stormwater infrastructure to reduce flooding, cut pollution, and protect homes. It's why we're rethinking how we feed people, too. The county serves more than 10 million meals a year. And for too long, that food came from corporate factory farms who dump pesticides in our rivers and degrade the health of our soil. So now we're using our food budget to support more sustainable, local farmers. That means keeping dollars in our community, cutting carbon emissions, and building a healthier food system. And we're doing the same with energy by joining San Diego Community Power, a public, not-for-profit energy provider. We're lowering energy rates for consumers and putting ourselves on the path to 100% renewable energy by 2035. But it's not just our environment that we're fighting to defend. It's also our rights, our freedoms, the very principles that hold our democracy together. The White House is forcing law firms to drop clients and instead take cases that support its agenda, undermining our legal system's independence and coercing lawyers to bow to political pressure rather than uphold the rule of law. But our right to a lawyer should not depend on whether your case is popular. It should depend on the Constitution. And in March, ICE deported Kilmar Abrego Garcia, father of 3 special needs kids, a Maryland resident and green card holder who had lived here for more than a decade. A court ordered them not to. ICE did it anyway. And now Kilmar is locked in a maximum security prison in El Salvador. And the administration is refusing to bring him back, even after the Supreme Court said that they must. Green card holders, longtime residents, people who live and work beside us, our neighbors, our coworkers, people we love. On Monday, Trump said that he wants to send U.S. citizens to El Salvadoran prisons too. If they can deport someone like Kilmar, how long until they start ignoring the rules for everyone else? That's why the San Diego County Immigrant Legal Defense Program is more vital now than ever. We launched the program 4 years ago because no one should lose their right to due process just because they can't afford an attorney. This right to an attorney for everyone, even non-citizens, is enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. And here in San Diego, we're honoring this right. Run by our fantastic County Public Defender's Office, the Legal Defense Program has so far helped more than 2,500 immigrants get a fair day in court, keeping families together and making sure no one faces unlawful deportation alone. Like the Ethiopian engineer whistleblower who exposed a toxic leak by a Chinese state-owned oil company in his hometown. For speaking out, he was arrested, beaten, and tortured. He fled to the United States and was detained at Otay Mesa, facing deportation. Our program stepped in and won his case in court. And we're not doing it alone. Our sheriffs, our public defenders, our probation officers, and our district attorneys fight every single day to uphold the rule of law and ensure justice for all, not just the powerful. This is what it means to live our values of fairness, justice, and human dignity. But we can't talk about freedom and dignity without talking about housing. All of us deserve a roof over our heads and a secure place to call home. Yet, in the richest country in the world, middle-class families can't even afford a small starter home. Teachers, firefighters, and healthcare workers are being priced out of the communities they serve, forced into long commutes. And for those living paycheck to paycheck, one small setback, a job loss, a rent hike, a medical bill, can mean sleeping in their car or ending up on the street. So that's why housing has been a cornerstone of our work since I took office. Over the last 4 years, we've tripled the pace of home building, and your county government is now leading the region in meeting our state housing goals. And we've increased our affordable housing production by 500%. All this while also launching new programs to help seniors and vulnerable residents stay in their homes. But as most San Diegans can tell you, on the first of every month, even this progress is insufficient for the scope and scale of our housing crisis. Here in our region, we're bearing the brunt of America's rigged economy. Rising home costs, job insecurity for white and blue-collar workers alike, and a society and housing market tilted further towards those at the very top. Wall Street corporations and hedge funds like Blackstone are snatching up homes and apartments across San Diego County, outbidding first-time buyers, squeezing out working families, jacking up rents, and pushing out tenants to boost profits. So we're fighting back. We're suing corporate landlords accused of tenant harassment, rent price fixing, and illegal evictions. And we're investigating Wall Street's home buying spree here in San Diego, tracking who owns what and where and how they're driving up costs. But we can and we must do much more, with the help of those who've benefited the most from San Diego's real estate boom. Homes in San Diego are now selling for $7, $10, even $15 million after decades of soaring values, sometimes even without upgrades. So we're proposing something simple: a small transfer fee on sales of the top 1% of properties in San Diego County, paid only once when these properties change hands. Those with homes in the top 1% can pay forward just a small share of that fortunate windfall when their property is sold to help break the stranglehold of our housing crisis. And in return, we could build affordable homes for teachers and nurses and first responders so they can live in the communities they serve. Or we could help first-time homebuyers and young families finally get a foot in the door. Or we could move the 100,000 people stuck on San Diego's Section 8 waitlist into stable housing, a crisis created by years of federal inaction. Or we could scale up the programs that work, like homeless diversion and the senior shallow rent subsidy, to stop people from falling into homelessness in the first place. And the fortunate few who've gained the most from this insane housing market, some of whom are here in this room today, they, you, we can help build a housing system in our region that works for everyone else. But even as we do the hard work to level the playing field, we need to ask, why is the game rigged in the first place? Because the problem isn't just broken systems, it's people breaking them for profit. The agencies built to protect working people from predatory lenders, toxic polluters, monopolies, and worker exploitation are now being gutted. And the professionals are being replaced with political loyalists. When billionaires tell you, quote, they're just streamlining government bloat, there's one thing you need to know. We made these agencies. In fact, we demanded them. These are the watchdog institutions that we, the people, fought to create to protect us from corrupt politicians, unethical businesses, and dangerous industries that were harming Americans. But this administration in Washington wants to catapult us back to the America of the past, where predatory corporations could do anything they wanted to make a buck. We didn't always have food inspectors. It took public outrage to force the creation of the Food and Drug Administration after meatpacking companies were caught selling rancid, diseased meat to families and factory workers were found ground up in the machinery. We didn't always have labor laws or workplace safety standards. It took a fire in a locked Manhattan garment factory where 146 young women, mostly Italian and Jewish, burned to death or jumped from windows to escape the flames, to create OSHA and modern fire codes. The sprinklers in your office, the emergency exits you see in this room, did not exist until people marched and demanded them. It took a grassroots movement sparked by outrage over chemical companies spraying pesticides on our neighborhoods, poisoning our food and our wildlife, to birth the Environmental Protection Agency and ban DDT. And it took public fury against Wall Street collapsing the economy in 2008 to create the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, charged with safeguarding regular people from shady financial practices. Now, all of these protections are under attack. But remember, we made these institutions, and just like our parents and grandparents did, we can take action to make things better. As Washington guts the CFPB, we're building our own right here. I'm introducing legislation to create San Diego County's new Consumer Financial Protection Division to tackle price gouging, payday lending, delayed and denied health insurance claims, and deceptive advertising. We will work with our fierce district attorneys and the insurance commissioner to enforce the rules and level the playing field for small businesses and working families. Because if you think we're powerless in the face of these forces, think again. We've already created the Office of Labor Standards and Enforcement to protect workers, and enacted new county contracting rules to guarantee fair wages and paid sick leave. Take Jesus Arriaga, who waited years for stolen wages. Our county stepped in, paid him directly, and took his employer to court for the rest. We sued Big Pharma for fueling the opioid crisis and won $200 million for San Diegans. We sued Apple for deliberately slowing down your old iPhone and won a $24 million settlement. Now we're suing the social media giants, Meta, TikTok, YouTube, and Snapchat, for deliberately addicting our kids and profiting off a youth mental health crisis they helped create. And just this month, we won an injunction against a company making 3D printers designed to churn out untraceable ghost guns. But we're not just cracking down on the shadiest companies. We're also making our reserve and public investment dollars work for our community, aligning our investments with our values, and exploring a public bank that could finance affordable housing. Because here in San Diego County, might does not equal right, and we will keep fighting to make sure the playing field is level for everyone. So let me conclude by saying, in what seems like a different life, I was a professor, trying to understand why some countries prosper and others fail, why some enjoy stable democracies while others are trapped in cycles of violence and poverty. And some of the answers are surprisingly basic and at the core of our county's mission. County workers keep our land records and birth certificates secure so people can be recognized as citizens, buy and sell property, and prevent government looters from seizing our assets. County workers are the sheriff's deputies who keep us safe, the firefighters who train relentlessly to protect us from wildfires, the public defenders and district attorneys and probation officers who uphold the rule of law, the social workers and mental health teams who step in when a child or family is in crisis, the child care and home health care providers who care for our loved ones with dignity. There are over 20,000 county workers, some of whom are working right now in this very room. So in the days ahead, thank a county worker and join us in protecting what they do. This moment we face is not about left or right. It's about right or wrong. It's about choosing what kind of America, what kind of San Diego County we want to live in and fighting for it. And I don't know about you, San Diego, but I do not want to live in a world that's selfish and depraved, that's every person for themselves, where the more you can grab and steal and get away with, the more you get to keep. No. I want to live in a world where everyone has an equal opportunity to build a good life, where we respect the rights and freedoms of our neighbors, even, especially, when they look or think differently, where we can breathe healthy air and our water is clean and safe to drink and swim, where we keep the promises we've made to each other, friend to friend, neighbor to neighbor, to be there for each other on our worst days, where we stand together and lift each other up and we answer the call of our best selves, because we believe in a society that's not every person for themselves, but all of us standing together to defend and fight for our highest ideals. This is the promise that we make to each other as Americans. The work will not be easy. Leon Williams knew that, and we know it too. But when we fight, we win. Cuando luchamos, ganamos. Everyone can do something. As the Dalai Lama said, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. So if you're a judge or an educator or a doctor, stand your ground. If you're a lawyer, step up and take on a case or two pro bono. If you're a worker, join a union and pay your dues. Whether you're a computer programmer or a healthcare provider or an electrician. And if you're a parent, join your kids' PTA. Because here's the truth. Democracy does not live in Washington. It lives in us, in what we choose to fight for, in how we come together, in how we care for one another, and in the day-to-day essential work of local government, the kind that doesn't make headlines, but holds a society together. So even if Washington is abandoning its responsibilities, we, together, can still fulfill America's promise, San Diego County's promise. It's our choice. We can wait or we can lead. San Diego County, let's lead.
Supervisor Terra Lawson-Remer, the dynamo, the leader, incredible. Thank you so much. What an incredible night. A heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you. Also the gracious hosts here at the San Diego Natural History Museum. We appreciate you reminding us that we are surrounded by stories of transformation, resilience, and evolution. And all of you, thank you for being a part of this community, being a part of this moment. And this concludes the 2025 State of the County Address.